There are some who'd make me out to be the villain of this here story.
Can I just say, I understand what Austin Butler is going through right now. Once you start playing Elvis, you become him. It's like he takes over, his ghost comes inside your body, and you become his, meat bag of sorts. And now, we get to talk about the brilliance that is the movie, Elvis. No, Elvis! You will not control me today! I'm done being your slave! You think I'm a puppet, huh? You think I'm gonna do your little puppet dance, huh? Well, I'm the master of my own brain, so give it up! And I'm here to talk about what we all really think about the movie Elvis. It's okay. It's just okay.
In that moment, I watched that skinny boy transform into a superhero.
Well, you may go to college.
Oh God, do I have to go through the whole history of Elvis? Because I'm not. Long story short, Elvis was a controversial singer who became a sensation due to the way he sang and wiggled his hips. His manager was a fucking douchebag, and many a woman, and I'm sure some men, wanted to jump his bone. And I'm sure they did. He met his wife when she was 14, but did not get married to her until she was 21, and they had one child, Lisa Marie Presley. He died high on narcotics while trying to squeeze out a deuce, and that's about it. Now, if all that sounds interesting to you, great news. It's in movie form. This movie, to be precise. And if you're a fan of Elvis or just curious about his life, the movie does a pretty good job of showing you a majority of what there is, and not everything. Obviously, the film is trying to be respectful to the man's legacy and appease the family, but maybe that's what makes this such a whatever film. It feels Hollywood. And if you're not going to talk about some of the more controversial moments, then what's the fucking point? You might as well have just made a documentary.
But I did not consider the most dangerous thing of all. Love.
I just went over this. Look, the story of Elvis is a young man is able to drive girls wild with his singing and dancing. So a manager of sorts decides to exploit the singer in order to make millions. Everything is cool at first, until the government gets involved due to them not liking what Elvis does, so threatens the manager to keep him under control, which is when things start to spiral downhill. The film sees the highs and lows of this man throughout his career. And that's honestly about it. The story here is less about what you go in expecting and more about what you go in wanting to learn about the man. Biopics live in the sort of in-between of genres, half in documentary and half in entertainment. As such, its story is probably not what most people go in to see as much as learning about the man in general. We all know how Elvis' story ends. What we want to see are the highlights of it and the things we did not know, proving that people are all nerds in some way.
So, in the lonely moments between shows, he turned to dim pills.
Of course, the downside of a film like this is that it can lie or withhold information. For Elvis, it's less about the lying and withholding as much as it is about the presentation. The story is just told so generically, which is a shame as director Baz Luhrmann is known for his visual flair. But I just don't see it shine through as much here. It's fine. It does what it needs to do, but especially compared to other biopics, this one doesn't do enough to outshine any of them. The one saving grace here is Austin Butler as Elvis. And yes, I know I'm flipping between the story and the presentation section, but bear with me here as the two do go hand in hand quite a bit. Austin's portrayal is one of those performances that just goes all out, which is absolutely necessary for a role like this. Otherwise, you can end up with a Rami Malek Bohemian Rhapsody situation. It's hard to walk out of the experience believing it's not Elvis on screen. Any praise that has gone his way is totally warranted, despite his crazy stunt that he can't escape the performance. Whatever. Definitely a cry for attention, or his way of doing an Oscar campaign, I guess. On the flip side, what the fuck is up with Tom Hanks? His Colonel Sanders impression is terrible. And okay, look, I'll actually be kind of kind here. It's terrible for the type of film this is trying to be. For someone as fucking despicable as Tom Parker was, it's hard to feel anything towards him when the performance is more akin to Foghorn Leghorn. Maybe that's the point, to lessen his impact as a human being, but it does not work in a film that's trying to be this grand. You need someone who is capable of giving an equally impressive performance as Austin. Two minds constantly battling each other. One for freedom, one for control. This could have been a theme that Boz could have really gone all out with and much further than he did, creating two opposing forces, so it's a shame that he doesn't take full advantage of it. And it's no secret that many Oscar-related YouTube channels have spoken out about how tired they are of the biopic, since they all basically do the same thing. But I argue that films like Rocketman, for instance, with its unique style, help the genre flourish and feel fresh. Boz could have made something more here, but instead he played it safe. And sure, Rocketman didn't make a splash at the Oscars, but I'm willing to bet that that film stays on people's minds more than this one is going to. At the very least, it is with me. And I think it's a testament how not everything needs to be Oscar bait. Sometimes it can hurt.
Well, what about you, Mr. Presley? Are you ready to fly?
Yes, sir. I'm ready. Ready to fly.
Once again, Elvis is fine. I wasn't bored with it. I wasn't enraptured with it. I didn't think it was a waste of time, but I sure as hell don't want to watch it again. In many ways, it's worse than being a terrible film because at least you can be passionate about what you hate. Here, it's fine. Melancholically, I give the king of rock and roll, Elvis, a 3 out of 5, with the recommendation to rent it. I'm sure many will like it fine, and I'm sure many will not. The truth, however, I do believe just lies somewhere in the middle. And now, Jan, it's time for you and I to have a serious conversation in the bathroom. No! No! Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe out there. And have a good one. You son of a bitch! Come on, it's time to go drop hunks of burning love.